Don't move. Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?
Hey everyone, Mr. DPB here. In today's video, I am going to be reviewing Jurassic World Dominion, which is the third and final film in the Jurassic World trilogy, and the sixth and allegedly final film in the Jurassic Park franchise. So, going into this movie, I was quite excited for it. I would say behind The Batman, it was probably my most anticipated film of the year. It was definitely up there. I don't necessarily love what they did with the first two Jurassic World movies. In particular, Fallen Kingdom, I think, has, its fair share of enjoyable moments, but for the most part, the movie was just like a setup film for a third movie where all the dinosaurs are going to be on the loose, which is what, this movie was essentially supposed to be. Like, it was, all the dinosaurs on the loose, we got our original characters back, teaming up with the new ones, and so I was looking forward to that, right? Like, I thought the trailers were fun, getting the original cast back was something I was certainly excited for, and I just thought it was going to be an entertaining movie. How wrong I was. I will start off by saying this is potentially the most disappointing movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm just so confused with what they decided to do here. Like I said, going into this movie, you would think the premise is going to be dinosaurs are now out in the free world, sort of just causing mayhem. The original cast is going to team up with the new cast, and they're going to find a way to stop it, or something like that, right? Because that's how this movie was marketed. That's what the whole second film was about. The second movie was about getting the dinosaurs off of the island so that they can bring them to the mainland. It was just a setup for a third movie. And they decided to just drop that. They said, you know what? Dinosaurs are in the real world. They're sort of just like a minor annoyance that people have to kind of shoo away every once in a while. The main plot is actually going to be about this company who has made a bunch of locusts who are going around and eating crops.
Now, eventually, you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello?
That is the premise for this movie, and our trio of original characters are going to team up with the new ones so that they can stop this company and their locust crop monsters. Like, what? That is the premise you have for the allegedly final Jurassic Park movie? Like, this does not feel like a Jurassic Park movie whatsoever. At all. The dinosaurs are a complete afterthought in this movie. The two main storylines that we are following have nothing to do with dinosaurs. The dinosaurs show up every once in a while for a little chase sequence to add some tension, except there is none, because every character in this movie gets a few scratches and that's it. Like, it was so weird. And it's not even just that, like, the story was just stupid and didn't work at all. The characters also sucked. I mean, I was really excited to see, Alan Grant back on screen, and all he does this entire movie, he just has that same sort of, like, confused expression that he has in the original, where he's like, that's him this entire movie. That's, like, all he does. I can't remember one line he has in this film. He just has that kind of, like, what am I doing here expression. Ellie Sattler, Laura Dern, love her character in the original film. But here, I thought her performance was bad. Like, her very first scene, she has a couple of lines talking about the locusts, and I was like, she is not giving a very good performance whatsoever. I just don't think she cared. Like, the entire movie, she just is here. Ian Malcolm, wasn't really a fan of him either. I mean, yeah, he still feels like his character as far as, like, his dialogue, or not necessarily his dialogue, but, like, his expression and stuff goes. He still has the Jeff Goldblum-isms and whatnot, but that's it. Like, otherwise, he does nothing in the movie. Chris Pratt, who I know he's a controversial actor or whatever, but I like the guy. I think he's a fun celebrity and whatnot. I enjoyed him in the first two Jurassic World movies. I think he always has, like, this very fun, charismatic energy to his character. And in this film, he was just boring. And I don't blame it on his acting. I blame it on the writing, because he is given nothing to do here. Bryce Dallas Howard, she just exists. There's nothing to her character. Like, all the characters are just there. They all suck. And then there's the villain. Holy crap. The villain in this movie is the worst character in the Jurassic Park franchise, bar none. This was such an awkward character. Their first scene, I was cringing so hard at just how they were acting. Like, it was just so out of place and weird. It felt like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor dialed up to, like, 1,000. Like, it was so just off-putting and cringeworthy how awkward this character was. They didn't need to be in the movie whatsoever. This movie didn't, like, I can't believe this is what they decided to make the final Jurassic Park film about. Like, all we've ever wanted to see for the last while was, dinosaurs out in the real world. That's what the entire last film was about. That entire movie was setting up for the dinosaurs to be freeing, or roaming the free world. So let's just drop that and make this movie about bugs that are eating plants. Like, what? It's such a stupid decision. I really don't have many positives for this movie, to be honest. The pacing's terrible. Like, this movie felt like it was just jumping so much in the first, 30 minutes or so. Like, it was just jumping from location to location, from character to character. It was very much so, like, Rise of Skywalker pacing. And then once they arrive at this really boring facility, the rest of the movie was just super slow. It was just a bunch of scenes of characters in, laboratories and in this building walking around with really clunky dialogue. The dialogue here sucks. It is abysmal dialogue. It's just very awkward. Like, there's the characters, it never feels like they have actual conversations. They're just very, awkward. I don't know how to describe it. It's so weird, the dialogue in this movie. I can't believe that this is, the film that we got. The opening scene is stupid as well. I mean, there was this IMAX prologue that they had in front of, Fast and Furious 9 for this movie, which was, a mosquito during the Jurassic age, 65 million years ago, that lands on some dinosaurs, and that was this really cool scene they had. And then it was the logo, and then it's a T-Rex rampaging through a drive-in theater. That should have been the opening scene, but instead it's just this montage of dinosaurs kind of messing up things in the real world, but it had this very goofy tone to it, and it was so awkward. And I was like, this is how they're gonna open the movie. It was just very off-putting tonally. So yeah, characters were all incredibly disappointing. The performances weren't good. The movie's score sucked. I mean, that was one thing I actually liked about Fallen Kingdom, was I thought it had a really good score. The Indoraptor had kind of a cool score and whatnot. Michael Giacchino, I think he was on cruise control when he made this movie's score, because nothing is memorable. When you hear the original Jurassic Park theme, which is used every single time a character gets out of a sticky situation, a dinosaur chases them and they escape, they just play the dun 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 da 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 da, right? It's oh, nostalgia. It just fails miserably. It just does not work. So yeah, if I had to describe this movie, it is the Jurassic Park's franchise. It's the Jurassic Park franchise's version of Rise of Skywalker. But I would actually say I like Rise of Skywalker more than this movie, which is saying a lot because I do not like Rise of Skywalker. But that movie at least had a few character moments that I liked. There was a few things in that movie with characters, and there was a few scenes that I thought were decently put together. This movie, really messy editing. I'm not even talking about the pacing, just the actual editing during scenes was all over the place. You'd have moments where a character's climbing a ladder and they're in a dire situation. There's about 5 other characters below them, and then one character would get to the top, and then all of a sudden all the other characters are up there. And it's okay, what about the tension that was somewhat there 2 seconds ago? It's just all over the place. Also, the Jurassic Park franchises, the franchise has been getting progressively less violent as each film goes on. Jurassic World, there was some decent kills in it. Fallen Kingdom was definitely getting a little bit tamer. This movie's super tame. There's a couple of human deaths, and they're all off screen except for one, which was in the trailer, which is a guy on a Segway. It's the only death I can think of that was on screen from dinosaurs. Every other one is just the dinosaur goes to bite the guy and then it cuts away and you hear the crunch sound. It's whatever happened to the bloody stump arm in the original or anything like that. So yeah, massively disappointed with this movie. I'm kind of shocked. I am very shocked that this is what we got, because they literally, all of the setup for an enjoyable, decent movie was there. All they had to do was just dinosaurs rampaging around the world, and our original cast is back. But they chose to make this movie with this plot. The trailers are such a freaking mismarket. If I have to be honest, the trailers look like an entirely different movie. They kept out everything about, honestly, the trailers are kind of the end of I don't even know how to describe it. The shots they show in this trailer are basically from a montage sequence in this movie. That's how I would describe it. There's a montage in this movie, and that's what the trailer is. It's just showing that section because that's the stuff that's cool. The rest of this movie is just characters very boringly walking around and talking to each other in this building, and a bunch of locusts. What the fuck?
See? Not so bad.
So there you have it, guys. Jurassic World Dominion. I'm not going to say that I enjoyed Morbius more than this movie, but I think I did. If I have to be completely honest, I actually think I had more fun with Morbius than I did with this, because that movie was bad, but at least it still had some, like, mildly entertaining stupid shit in it. This movie was just boring. And it had a lot of stupid shit in it. So yeah, I am hugely disappointed with this. I am shocked at how this film turned out. This makes Fallen Kingdom look like a masterpiece by comparison. And I can't believe I'm saying that. So there you have it, guys. Those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. Would I recommend it? I mean, no. But at the same time, if you're a fan of the Jurassic Park franchise, just you're gonna see it anyways, probably. I wouldn't, like, it's not like, you know, avoid this movie at all costs kind of scenario. But I think it's massively disappointing. I'll be interested to hear your guys' opinions. If you see this movie, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Because if you liked it, that's great. Like, that's all, you know, your opinion. But in my opinion, I don't know. I think Jeff Goldblum put it best.
That is one big pile of shit.